Now for today's sponsor, Rogue Energy. If you love energy or if you love hydration, Rogue Energy is your one-stop shop. I personally love to use the energy supplement as it helps me focus when I work, and it also helps me power through workouts when I go to the gym. I also love to use the hydration whenever I go out for a run or do any type of cardio activity. It really helps me replace my lost electrolytes. Make sure to use my code Harariboy at checkout for 10% off your purchase. Alright, so for our next segment here, we're gonna go over, is now good time to basically buy a house. So let me play this Dave Ramsey video for you here. Hear what he has to say, and we'll go ahead and break it down.
Let's get to the calls. I need some hope, John. Let's see if Cooper can provide that in Olympia, Washington. Cooper, what is going on?
Hey, how's it going? I appreciate you taking the call.
Absolutely. What's going on with you?
Oh, I've got a hopefully a simple question you can answer. So I'm 21 years old, and I'm trying to figure out if I'm currently renting out a house. I'm trying to figure out if now is a good time to start looking at purchasing my own home, or it'd be better to increase my savings and whether invest the stuff I have now to maybe further my down payment. I'm kind of a little bit lost because I got a new job, and so I'm looking for what's the next step.
Okay. Give us a little bit of your financial picture. Do you have any debt?
I'm debt free. I've got roughly like $25,000 in my savings account, and then I've got $31,000 in a CD loan that I'll be pulling out in January.
And is 25? Is that your emergency fund?
Nope, that's savings. That's everything I've got in the bank.
Okay. So do you have a separate emergency fund?
I do not have a separate emergency fund.
Okay. Let's call that your emergency fund. Is that about 6 months of expenses for you?
No, it's $25,000, and I spend roughly, $3,000 a month. So
about
a little
20.
more, so $18,000.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let's call 20 your emergency fund, and we're not going to touch that. That's not going to be part of this home buying process. So outside of 20, you have the other 5 plus the 31?
Yep. And then I have 12,000 inside of a Roth, a Vanguard Roth IRA that I started 2 years ago. But now that with my new job, I have the option to use a Roth as my deferred comp. And so I've just been putting all my money into that rather than my Vanguard Roth. And I didn't know if that was something that I should pull out and use for that, because I'm not certain how much $12,000 over a long period of time is going to help out.
I mean, it would turn into a whole lot if you left it alone. I definitely would not unplug the growth and tap into that. I know there are some people say, hey, you can dip into your Roth and take out the contributions without penalty. I wouldn't do that in your shoes. You're a young guy. Okay. You got plenty of time for compound growth to do its thing. I would use future income and current savings for this home purchase, and you'll get there. What's your income?
Yeah, so it works a little different. So right now I'm making like roughly $89,000, but I have step pay. So over the next 5 years, I get a pretty significant increase. And by roughly year 5, I'm on year 1 right now.
Okay.
Year 5 roughly will be probably 115.
Awesome. So we're going to call it 90 for now. How much can you save making 90 with no debt if you just focus on saving up for that down payment? How much could you save in a year?
I'm bringing home roughly about $2,000 into my savings each month, so $24,000.
Okay.
And that's before overtime. I could bump that numbers up with overtime for sure.
Awesome. So if we take your 36, we add 24 over the next year, that brings you to a total of $60,000 you have for a down payment.
Yeah.
So what is your home? The parameter that will help you with this to figure out the math on it is you want to have the mortgage payment be no more than a quarter of your after-tax income on a 15-year fixed. And you can use our mortgage calculator on our website to start crunching the numbers. And what that does, it helps you figure out what kind of home budget should I be looking for and what kind of down payment do I need to accomplish that goal.
I see. Okay. And then, as far as over this next, the year that I'm going to be working, saving up for that down payment, what should I be doing with my money? Because, I'm renting right now. And so that's a little annoying just because I know I'm basically burning money. And then I know that having my money just in a savings account is losing valuable, or like
no,
how valuable
Cooper.
it is.
Cooper, my money right now is in a savings account.
Is it?
And you know how much sleep I lose? 0. It's in a high yield savings account. You know who else is? George.
Okay.
You
Okay.
gotta unbelieve this narrative that
Get off
renting
TikTok,
is
dude.
you're burning money. Renting shows patience. It shows responsibility as you get your financial house in order. Because you know what's really burning money? When you can't afford the mortgage because it's 60% of your take-home pay because you bit off more than you can chew before you're ready. And those are the calls we get on this show.
And the air conditioner goes out, or the hot water heater goes out, or the whatever.
So I will tell you what I did as to how I got a huge down payment saved and how we paid off our house early. We put the money in a high-yield savings account. And I'll tell you, at the time, it was a 2% interest rate on savings accounts, and my wife and I were freaking out. We were like, we are making money hand over fist with this. And now it's 4 or 5%. And so you can make some decent money just holding money in a savings account. Don't invest it. Don't put it in a CD, locking your money away with penalties if you take it out early. Just put it in a high-yield savings account and be patient and sign the lease for another year as you continue to rent and save up more money.
Okay.
Ideally, I want you to put 20% down. I think for a young guy making really good money who's debt-free, you should be able to put 20% down, avoid that PMI, private mortgage insurance, and keep that payment to no more than a quarter of your take-home pay.
Hey, Cooper, are you the first guy in your gang to make this kind of money?
Yeah, I am.
Okay. What about your family?
I would say my parents they definitely didn't start where I was at.
Okay.
You know, they're the retirement age now, and so maybe the last 2 years they were getting roughly what I am now.
So let's round up and say you're making $100,000. There's this perception with people who don't have $100,000 that all of their problems would be solved with $100,000. And if they had $100,000, they could buy any car they wanted, any house they wanted. And what are you doing? You make $100,000. You're renting. You're gonna drive a used truck. You idiot! You make $100,000. If you want to be a millionaire, you got to slow down, and you have to change. You have to not take money advice from broke people or from people who don't know what they're talking about on the internet. If you will rent for 12 months and you will dump all this money after you pay your debts off into a high yield savings account and just be patient. This is just the slow pain of getting in shape. It's every day. You're going to wake up in a year and you will have transformed your entire financial picture.
Okay.
Don't listen to anybody.
Yeah.
Be slow and boring, dude. Slow and boring.
Are you investing right now as well?
Yeah. So,
how much? What percentage?
Initially I started working in high school, and that's when I was putting all my money into that Vanguard Roth. And then, from high school to essentially this last February where I got this new job, I just basically been, working 80 hours a week trying to boost my savings account as much as I can. And so I was putting all my money into that Vanguard Roth. But now that I've got my new job, I'm just putting in $700 into my 457B.
Okay. I say that because it could, if you're really jonesing to get a house, you can pause investing for a short time so that you have an extra $700 to put towards the savings goal.
Yeah.
If that's going to be a difference.
Short period of time.
I'm talking a year or two.
How long is that?
Yeah, no longer than a year or two. If it's going to be longer than 2 years to get this house, I would continue investing. And you can split the difference. Maybe you do $200 or $300. But if you're really jonesing for a house, which I would caution to have patience and do it when you're ready, that's an option to speed this process up because you're already working your tail off, man. You're crushing it. I'm proud of you. You're doing the right things. Just don't get distracted and be the tortoise, not the hare.
So do you have a minute to connect? Let's Minect. That's right, guys. I'm officially on Minect now. You guys can go ahead and book me. I will be offering financial as well as career coaching based off of the Dave Ramsey principles, of course. So yeah, feel free to contact me, connect with me on Minect, and I look forward to speaking with each and every single one of you. Alright, so you heard what he had to say there. The housing market has cooled down a bit, but that doesn't mean it has crashed, right? In fact, the housing market is still climbing. It's just doing it at a slower rate than before. I'm talking about the craziness in the pandemic. Things are like starting to become normal, like 2019, 2018. The rate of return on real estate that it was back then, we're pretty much close to that. The interest rates coming down could have some effects on the overall values of homes, as sellers would potentially be returning to the market in droves, causing supply to increase. However, I wouldn't hold my breath on that, because there's a caveat to that. One caveat that's been brewing over the past 4 years, starting in the pandemic, and that's the real estate investors. Beware of the real estate investors coming back to the market, basically causing bidding wars all over again because the rates are low. I'm talking about your BlackRocks, your big investment firms like that, who actually buy and hold homes for no better purpose but to rent it back at higher rates to you as a consumer. It's terrible, I know, but there's ways around it. It's not easy, but again, you got to think about it. They're not really using their money. A lot of times these investors are using loans as well, so that's why they are very contingent upon the interest rates being so high as opposed to low. So yeah, maybe in a future podcast episode, I'll show you some of the techniques I used in the past to help protect myself from that. But ideally, you'd want to get your mortgage in order first at the best rate you can possibly get. And yeah. Also, guys, make sure to check out my merch. I do a new merch drop every single month, so link is in the description below. Go ahead and check that out.